So let's deploy it once again. Okay, let's deploy it again. So we'll select deploy module. And I will select the application. Okay, I'll select the application to deploy. Select next and select next. Next and then finished. So this uploading, so internally it will be using Ant only. Okay, so using Ant, your application will be deployed. Okay, the application is deployed. Now I'm going to log into my administrator. So username password is root nt. Okay, log. Okay, so this is our administrator window. So if you want to see your applications, you will be having that information under applications folder. Okay, so select application. Hello. So root is the username and the password is T. Okay. So port while installing I have configured as this 1820 18120. So on my system this is the URL for it. So as I have told you, so you will be having two types of environments. So system environment and development environment. Okay. So if you see system, now these are all platform services. So I have told you, so you will be having in the system environment the dashboard services, logging services, payload services, event collector services and all. So these are all part of your core AMX platform. Okay, so these are all runtime components. But your business logic will not be executed by the system environment. Okay, it will not be executed by system environment. So it will be executed by development environment. So if you want to see your application, so change your environment. So from system, you select your development environment. So there you can see your application is deployed. And currently your application is running. Now here the mediation component will be running, because the business logic will be executed by a mediation. Okay, so you have the mediation, so that will be executed here. So this is our deployed application. And you can see, so this is our mediation. Okay, so this is our mediation. Okay, and this is the promoted service. Okay, this is the promoted service. And this is the component service. And for the promoted service, you will be having by default virtualization binding, and you will also have SOAP binding. Now this is our SOAP binding. Okay, and if you want to test it, okay, if you want to test this mediation, you select your SOAP binding. Okay, select the SOAP binding, and it will show you where exactly it is deployed. Your application is deployed on this node, this Twilio node. So select your node. There you have the option of generating WSDL. Okay, so click on generate WSDL. It will create concrete WSDL. It will show you the concrete WSDL for it. Okay, so this is the concrete WSDL. Okay, and one thing you must remember while giving this information to the end users. Okay, while giving this WSDL file to the end users, so you have to change this address. This, by default it will set to 4 zeros. Okay, by default it has set the value as 4 zeros as IP address. So this 4 zeros indicates local host. You have to remove that. So you have to replace that with actual IP address. Okay, while giving this concrete WSDL to the end users, you have to replace that 4 zeros with the IP address. Okay, so now you can see it has taken the port 9090. It has taken. Okay, it has taken the port 9090. So from where it is taking that port 9090, let's check that. Now, so go to properties, and you can see in the properties, this accept claims inbound interface, this binding is based on one HTTP inbound connection. It is based on one HTTP inbound connection, and the property name is HTTP connector. Okay, its name is HTTP connector. So where exactly you have this component? Now this is resource template. Okay, HTTP connector. Now I have already told you the connection details will be specified using resource template and resource instances. So let's check the resource template HTTP connector. you will be having that in shared objects. So go to shared object and select resource templates. Okay, so these are all available resource templates currently. And from here, I will change the scope to HTTP connector. Okay, change the type to HTTP connector. There you can see it is showing one HTTP connector. And see the properties for it. There you can see. So 9090. So this is the default HTTP connector that you are using. So we didn't create that. So this the installation comes with one resource template for HTTP connector. So that port number is defined here. So it is taking that port number. Okay. Now let's go back to applications. So there you can see in the configuration, you can see. So you will be having that information. You will be having, where exactly it is running, what exactly the status and all here. So from here also you can generate the concrete visual for your application. Okay. Yeah, Harsha. Yes, Harsha, go ahead. No, you can of course you can modify. You can change the connectors and all, everything you can change. Okay. And if you configure UDDA server, okay, if you configure UDDA server, so automatically whenever your application is published, the concrete visual for that application will be published. Okay, whenever you configure UDDA server, so whenever you deploy the application specific concrete visual will be published to the UDDA server. And from there it can be accessed by the end users. So if you configure UDDA server, you can configure that here. Okay. Now right now we don't have any distribution. Okay, we don't have any distribution, so that's why the distribution is blank currently. So your application is running on only one node. Okay, it's running on only one node. So if you have multiple nodes, then you can distribute your application. So bindings you can have it on one system, and the mediations you can run it on another system. Now these are the global variables or the substitution variables. So I have told you yesterday, so application templates will be having application fragments. So these mediations and all, they are referred as application fragments. Okay. So and the substitution variables you will configure here. Yeah. Like if you want to configure some kind of port numbers or queue names, topics names, they're like global variables. Okay. And this is where it will show you what resource templates it is using. So currently it is using the resource template HTTP connector. And you can see the status. So currently your application is running. On what node it is running? This Twilio dev node. Now let's switch to Twilio dev node and see what exactly the node status. So go to infrastructure and select hosts, or you can select environments also. So from here you can check your node status. So there you can see, so 2 environments you have. So this is your development environment. and there, so one node is running. Okay, and so hosts, system host. So on that system host is connecting, so it is managing two nodes. So one dev node and one system node. And you can check the configurations. Okay, if you want to configure the JVM, so you can configure from here. If you want to increase the heap size and all, you can do it from here. Okay, currently it is having very less, 512 only it is having. So you can increase it if you wish. Okay. So currently, so resource templates only, they are abstract definitions. Okay, they are only abstract definitions. But the resource instances are the one which enables actual connection. Now on this node, these many types of resource instances we have. But if I drill down to HTTP connector, it will show me the HTTP connector. If you don't have this, you cannot have communication with your deployed mediation. Okay. And you can, if at all you want to, you're facing some support issues. So if the support team asks, they just send the log files, you can take the log files from here. Okay. So this is our node, and so you can see the configuration. And in the configuration, so we will be having so these are the applications currently running on that. Okay. Now let's see the platform components. So if I switch back to system environment, and if I see the system node and in the applications. So when I go to applications, and if I switch back to system environment, these are all platform components. And all these platform components, once again, they are internally either Java-based, Java-based SCA components or web SCA components. So when you see the Business Studio, you can see that here. Okay, you have Spring, Web, Java, Mediation, and the runtime also is based on the two. So Web or Java, like that. Now this dashboard, it is completely built based on the SCA web component. Okay, and this artifact server also, it is based on Spring and Web. Aggregated, all based on Java. The payload service, Java and Web. Log service also. So you see, the entire AMX platform is built on SCA components only. The composites, Java and Spring. Okay, and how do they communicate? Using SOAP bindings. Okay, they'll be communicate using these sub bindings. Okay, now if you want to build custom, monitoring applications. So if you want to build custom monitoring applications, you can take that, visual file from here. Okay, you can take the visual file, and then you can, your concrete visual will be generated, and then you can call the required methods. Okay. Now, so I want to create my own application template. Okay, so I want to create my own resource template. So right now, you are using the default one. So if you see the sub binding, so it is using the default one. So HTTP connector it is using. Okay, it is using the default HTTP connector. So I don't want to use this. Okay, I don't want to use this because it is using the port 9090. I want that the service should be available on the port number that I want. Okay, I want to define the port number on which this service should be available. So for this, you have to create your own HTTP connector. So which means you have to create your own HTTP resource instance and resource template. Okay, so I'm going to create that. So instead of connector, I will specify a different one. So HTTP connector. Okay, so I want that my service should be running on this. Okay, so you see I didn't specify the port number. Okay, I didn't specify the port number. I specified a name for it. Okay, I specified a name for it. And this name should be there in the AMX server. So now I'm going to create this connector in AMX admin. Okay. So go to shared objects and select resource templates. Okay, resource templates. Now, so where exactly you want to create this resource template? Okay, where exactly you want to create this resource template, you have to specify. So I want to create that into development node. Okay, I want to create that into development node. So I'm going to select that to development environment. And then so I'll select new. Okay, select new. And then I'm going to give a name for it. And here I will specify this port 190. Now here you have accept queue size. So which means currently it will take 50 requests concurrently. Okay, so this using this connector, your application can process 50 requests concurrently. Okay, and here you can customize other properties. Okay, now select save. Okay, select save. Now you have created only resource template. So, but this resource template, based on this, you have to create resource instance, and you have to make sure that the resource instance is running on the development node. So select that and select new resource instances. Okay, select new resource instances, and you have to specify. First, you should know in which node you will be deploying your applications. So we will be deploying our applications into this node. So select this node and move it. Okay, so you're saying that, so install this connector resource instance onto this node, and then select save and install. So it will be installed. So you have to cross check whether it is installed or not. So that you can do from the node. So go to infrastructure and select the nodes. So we have to switch, you have to shift to the development environment and select the node and check the resource instances. There you can see HTTP connected 10,009, 10,019, and the current status is running. So now I can deploy this application. So go here. Now you can see your administrator status and the node status from here itself. Now if you expand this, there you can see it will show you the resource templates here. Now you can see it is not showing the one that we have created. So if you want to see that, just refresh your connection. There you can see you have the connector. And if you see your node, or if you see the application, you can see your application which is currently running. Okay, from that node, this resource instance is running. So as I told you, your application will be deployed as an application template. Here you can see your application template. Okay. Now, so with this new configuration, let's deploy the application again. So deploy module. So select your application. Next, you have to upgrade your existing application. Okay, you have to upgrade your existing application. So select upgrade existing application. Select next. Next. It is not showing our connected. Okay, it is showing old value only because we didn't recreate the DAF file. Okay, we didn't recreate the DAF file, that's why it is taking only old value. Okay, so I'm going to recreate the DAF file. So composite generate DAF. So next, next, and put. So now I'll deploy it. Upgrade. Next. So now you can see your connected instance is there. So if you want to map to something else, you can select that and you can go to override. Okay, you can select override and either you can create the new one or you can use some other ones. Okay, something. Okay, you can select some new ones from here. Okay, so finished off. Is deployed. So now if I go to applications, and there I have the application. Now if I generate the concrete visual, so this time it will be having the new value. Generate visual. You can see. So 10,019.45. Okay. Now let's test this. So whether it's working or not. You can use any SOAP client. So to test this, I'm downloading the SOAP for web service testing. Okay. So in the meantime, so let's remove this application. Okay. So if you want to remove the application, so multiple options are there. You can directly remove the application from here. Okay, you can delete the application from here. But if you want to delete the application, so from administrator. Okay, if you want to delete the application from administrator, so what exactly you have to do is, okay, so first you have to stop it. Okay, first you have to stop it. And then you have to undeploy it. Okay, you have to undeploy it. And then finally you can delete that. Okay, so that's how you will delete your application. So stop it, undeploy it, and then delete it. So whether it is SE application or BPM application, you will be doing the same thing. Okay, you will be doing the same thing. Okay. Now, so now, so let's say the second way of deploying. So which is uploading from administrator. Okay. So how are we going to do that? So from here, okay, so go to applications, select new application. Same thing, same steps you will perform even for BPM also. Okay, there is no difference. So 90% of BPM administration and AMX administrations are same only. Only one part will be different, that is organization model configuration. So rest everything will be same only. Okay. So select new application. Now, so whether you want to create application from DA file or existing application template. So if you want to create some governance resources, you will be using your existing application template. If I select existing application template, see, I'm having that one here. Okay, I'm having that one here. And if you see the system ones, you can select that. There you can see these are all system specific templates. LDAP authentication, everything you will have. Okay, so we will use the DA file. I'll select the DA, select browse, and select your application. Okay, DA, select your DA. Okay. Okay, it is saying that so an application template is already existing. It will create a new version for it. Okay, so select next. So we will be running on this node only. No. So select next. So there you can see the connector is also already selected. So if you want to change it, you can change it. Okay, you can change your connector there. Select next. Okay, now so select save and exit. Okay, so select save and exit and check your properties. So no issues. Okay, and now you can deploy it from here. Resolving. Source instance on node on host. Oh shit. We are trying to deploy it onto system host. Okay, the resource instance is in fail state. So that's why it is not running. So let me check that. So why is it in fail state? Okay, I will uninstall this. Off. Where is the all these one? So now it's running. Now I can deploy this. Okay, that's how you'll deploy it from administrator. So you'll give the DA file to the administrator and he will do the required setup and he will deploy it. Okay, so let's test whether it's working or not. I will generate the concrete wisdom. What the fuck is this? Oh, yes. So we'll test it from here. So select your binding and select in open administrator in a browser. So select your operation and just pass some value. So go for it, and okay, so this is the response that you have received. Okay, this is the response that you have received. Now, where exactly the log files are maintained for your application? Now, if you see the operation, we have specified the log activity here. Okay, but where exactly the log file will be maintained? The log file will be maintained here. So go to your node, data, TIBCO host, data again, nodes, your node, and then logs. Okay, on my system, this is the path for the log files. Okay, so on my system, that's the path for the log files. So when you open this log file, you can check that. So if I search for CL, so somewhere here we will be having that. I'll give proper value for it, so we can just check. What the fuck? So generally this is the file which contains the log data. I'm not sure why it is not logging it. The logging is enabled or not. Configuration. Use the non-logging configuration. That's so generally your component, all the logs information will be stored into this file. Okay, will be stored into this file. So instead of using the default one, okay, instead of using the default one, you can also create your own loggers. You can also create your own loggers. You can specify in so and so file you maintain the log files. Okay, so custom log files you can configure. So how can you configure the custom loggers? Okay, how can you configure custom loggers? So for that you will be using logging appenders. Okay, for that you will be using logging appenders. So using logging appenders, you can configure the custom log files for each of your component. So these are the types of log files appenders. Okay, using them, you can configure log appenders for your applications. Okay. So in the next class we will see so how to configure this logging appender for the applications. Okay. And we will see the logging appenders as well as the deploying from a command prompt. Okay, how to deploy it from command prompt we will see. Okay, so let's see the next class. Okay, so okay guys, see you tomorrow. Bye for now.